Good evening, everyone. This is Soapware Engineers. My name is Ark,
My name's Imran.
I'm Glory.
My name is Steve.
My name's Colin.
And I'm Ryland.
and we're going to be presenting King Soap today, and we're going to be demonstrating our product for them. So our client is Anita King. She's the owner and chief executive officer of King Soap, which is a local soap making business here in Sacramento, California. I got an example of one of the soap bars that they make. They smell fantastic and great. Come check out our booth at the presentation, and you can come smell one and check it out. But our client's problem is basically she does not have a functional website for her business. Currently, the options she has is she's unable to accept payments or offer shipping. If you look at the screenshots we have right here, she's unable to accept any online payments. So what she's currently having her clients do is take a screenshot of their cart order and send it to her via email or via the phone number, as you can see in the description in the screenshot below. This is very inconvenient for the client and also for our Anita herself. Makes the transaction difficult. So our solution for her is to create a fully customizable, functional e-commerce website that provides secure transactions at a low cost and a shipping solution as well. So our solution will compromise of four things: a fully custom website. It will be matched to the client's vision. So the client will be able to modify the products, including the information, pricing, and images. So she'll be able to add products, remove products off her webpage. And the way we're going to accept payments is using the Stripe API. This is a secure checkout that accepts common forms of payment like credit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay. This was the real point for our client to accept common forms of payment like this. And Stripe has a flat fee of 2.9% plus a 30 cent on the additional successful transaction. And for shipping, we'll be using EasyPost, which offers shipping labels via USPS. And the first 3,000 labels are free, and additional labels are 8 cents. Currently, our client is a low volume client, so this will satisfy her needs. 3,000 will be perfectly fine for her needs. And low cost hosting. So hosting costs will be minimal. It'll be estimated $9 per month using Netlify Personal, and we will be using the Superbase free tier, so there won't be any cost for the database. Moving on to Steve, who will be presenting our software requirements.
Thank you, Hark. So for our software requirements, when it comes to login requirements, the user must first, sign up through the website, and so they'll input their email and password to log in. When it comes to password complexity, we're enforcing that the password must be at least of length 8 characters or digits, with at least one letter and one digit, so you can mix and match. And then when it comes to the hashing requirements for the passwords, we're having Supabase handle all the hashing of the passwords for the users. You can go to the next slide. In terms of the third-party authentication, we're also having Supabase handle that as well. And so you can see the screenshot on the right as I try to sign up. I'm sent an email confirming that this is really me. And this is all done through Supabase, as I mentioned. In terms of the username complexity, there's really none as of right now. And for our database requirements, we needed, well, first, we more so planned our whole database on the actions that need to happen when a user places an order, right? And so we have tables such as the user, orders, order ID, payment, products, and product images as well. The user table is more so for users logging in, purchasing items and such. Orders, the order table is going to be used mainly for storing shipping addresses and order ID as well. Order items is more so to see what the customer purchased. Product table just to display to the customer all the different types of products, the price and such. Product images again to display to the customer the different types of soaps, and the payment table to ensure that payment verification has happened. In terms of what kind of data the application is storing user data, order, payment data, and product as well. You can go to the next slide. In terms of how we will be removing items from the database, or more so going to be removing items from the admin page on the website itself. So a user who's supposed to be an admin logs in, and they'll be prompted onto the admin login page, so they can create or delete products from the website, and deleting a product from the website will also delete it from Supabase as well, which is really neat. Next slide. And then for our ER diagram, like I said, we wanted to make this whole database more so when a user, places an order, it's going to go through this whole thing, right? So the user and orders is going to have a one-to-many relationship because a user can order multiple, items and such. In terms of orders, it's going to be a one-to-many relationship to order items as well because you can have multiple order or items in an order. And when it comes to the products, it's also going to be a one-to-many with order items and so on and so forth. And yeah.
I'm gonna go through our Figma and just go over real quick what our flow is gonna look like for the prototype, and then after that, I'm gonna go through our site of what we have prepared so far. So this is our Figma. As you can see, we have the landing page and the home page here with the shop, about, all soaps. And then we have the shopping cart and all of the login pages as well. And then we have the authenticated UI, and this is going to be pretty much the same pages as the public UI, except we're going to have a past order page added along with a user account page. And then lastly, we have the admin UI. This is the one that Steve was talking about, where they can create and delete products and edit any that are existing. So I'm going to go to what we have so far, and this is our landing page. So for the landing page, we have the company's top 6 products. If we go ahead and click on one. So for this product, it's pulling all of the product details and all of the images from our database dynamically. And you can see here it shows 2 in stock, and we're able to change the quantity accordingly. And you can only go up to 2. And then if we go over to shop, this is the page that's going to show all of the products that the company has. If we click on one of these as an example of one that is out of stock, you can see you can't increase the quantity, and the add to cart button is grayed out. So for the about page, we have some details about what the company offers and just displaying some of the products. Since the company is local and family owned, we wanted to keep the about page pretty intimate, so we included a little section that was just solely about the owner herself and some contact information for her, and all of these links do work. This can take you to her Instagram page. I don't have Instagram, so it doesn't go to it, but that does work. And we have all of this available in the footer on every page as well. So we do have the account creation and login features working. If we go to create an account, just as an example, if I tried to make a dummy account, if I remove this, it'll show an error saying that you need the @gmail.com, and then it'll also say that you need 8 characters and at least 1 number. For this, we're just going to use a pre-existing account to take us to the admin page. And the only feature we have working right now is the create a product in shop. So we're going to go ahead and make a product as an example. This will be all the ingredients that is in the soap, how many we have in stock, the weight, and then the category. We can just say organic. And we can also upload an image. We're just going to do a test image here. And it'll show that right there. And if I try to add the item, it'll show an error because I didn't add an appropriate decimal for this one. So we're going to change that. We're going to add it. And it says product added successfully. And we can go over to Supabase. And we can see that that just got added here with all of the details that we put in. And also if we go to the storage for the images, that test image shows here. And if we go back to the shop page that I showed you earlier, the product shows up here because it's dynamically being pulled. And that's all the details that we inserted with the stock for, and we can adjust the quantity accordingly. So now I am going to turn it over to Imran.
Thank you, Glory. So I'll be going over the technologies that we use for our application. When we were researching technologies, we wanted something that was modern and something that had a lot of documentation to help us program it up. So some of us had experience with MERN as a stack, and all of us have experience with SQL. So we decided to go with something akin to the Pern stack. So for our front end, we have JavaScript. For IDE, we have VS Code, and we use React, which helps us create modern user interface. And we have Tailwind CSS for styling, which allows us to not have a separate CSS page for each page. And for backend, we also use JavaScript. We're using Node to be our runtime. And of course, our relational database is PostgreSQL, which is in Pern. For APIs, we have Stripe and EasyPost. For version control, we have our GitHub, which is hosted on Steve's account on project titled King Soap. And for servers, we have Supabase, which is the free tier, as Hark went over. So as a roundup of all our technologies, we have Stripe, which prefers secure checkout for a flat fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents per successful transaction, and EasyPost for shipping labels, 3,000 free a month, which Hark went over is plenty for our client. Namecheap will provide us our domain name for 267 per month, and Netify Personal will provide us our web hosting service for 9 a month. And for Superbase, we see that free tier is enough for our use, and we estimate $32.47 plus per month with 50 orders, which is around the amount of orders that our client uses. Next, we have Colin.
Thank you, Imran. Now I'm going to go over our backlog and how we handled our user stories. We would try to meet at the beginning of each sprint. This is usually on the Tuesday following the Monday meeting we have for our class. During these sprints, we look to implement full features that are distributed between multiple people. For example, as you see on the user story on your right, as an admin, when I create an item, I want to display it on the shop page. I needed to wait for Glory to create the interface that allows us to store data into our database so that I can then dynamically pull it and display it on the shop page. Doing so, assigning stories sequentially creates a more spread out timeline for us and helps us create accountability within the team. This also helps us create the most viable product, which with functionality that prepares us for each sprint. Coming back to our admin example, we have the create product, which helps us tie into the delete and the update product. We need that create product to be ready for the beginning of next semester. Doing so will allow us to get the rest of our stories done and completed. These tasks are assigned at the end of each meeting with estimates provided by each team member on how many story points the item is worth. This usually goes around in a circle. We're in a meeting, we're discussing how much everything is worth in the story point estimate, and then we delegate them out accordingly. Our project is scheduled to be completed at the end of sprint 8 or October 25th tentatively. Now can we go to our JIRA? This is that example user story I was looking at earlier, and the different subtasks that were all assigned to me. And this helps us map out exactly what we need functionally before we can begin our sprints. And now can we go to the acceptance criteria? This acceptance criteria, we try to be pretty lengthy with this and understand exactly what we're requiring. As you can see, we have 4 different bullet points to describe how items should be displayed 3 in a row, items corresponding to each product ID, and how the images should be displayed. When the row exceeds 3 images, create a new row underneath and begin again. Okay, so now can we go to our backlog? We don't have anything loaded into each individual sprint yet. We have a backlog of about 86 work items. This will probably expand to 100 in total by the end of the sprints that we have left. But right now, this is the functionality that we know we are going to implement in the final version of our product. And I think that's all for me. I'll pass it over to Rylan.
Thank you, Colin. Now, in conclusion, in terms of client feedback, the client is pleased with the layout and the features that we have so far. There's only small issues, such as color scheme changes that might need to be changed later on. Now, when discussing things to prepare for 191, with regards to the product, we do have a bit of back-end work to do still, but all of us, most of us, if not all of us, have quite a bit of back-end experience now, so we are nicely prepared for that. We also do need to implement our APIs, such as Stripe and EasyPost still, but again, those should not be too difficult of a task. In terms of improving the Jira process, we could definitely clean up our Jira task handling, specifically how we assign the tasks to ourselves. Like Colin was discussing, we do have a good way to go about it, but sometimes it does get a little confusing. And to alleviate this, it'd be a good idea to preemptively have an idea of what tasks we feel individually we feel like tackling, with backups in case of conflicts. So getting a rough idea in our heads about what tasks we'd like to take on in regards to the entire project would be a good idea to bring to the meetings. Now, for insights and wisdom, I think it's a good idea. Pretty obvious, but it is still good to say. Prepare in advance for team meetings if you don't already. I think that's quite important. Makes meetings move pretty quickly. And it's also important to create a lighthearted team environment to sustain team synergy and morale. This is like sort of cheesy, but we're all seniors, so I know for some of us it can be pretty difficult to stay on task and be motivated. So I think it is really important to boost productivity and keep motivation high. And that is all. Thank you.
If you have any questions, Professor, feel free to shoot us an email. But other than that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.